have a special message to a couple of people on social media. Not naming anybody in particular, no. I'm just talking about two people that are dealing with two different situations. Now, I mentioned before that you should have a certain amount of social media etiquette, and one of the items that I did bring up was the fact that you should put as little of your personal business out there as possible. So for those of you who already have your business out there are two things that you need to know. First of all, whatever you put out there is being placed in your history. Be careful who you give your accolades and your attention to, because that's recorded. And the reason why I say this is because I come across a situation with a friend of mine the other day. She had this niece that she was so-called crazy about. And she would be all over social media, her and the niece going back and forth, talking about how beautiful they are and how much they love each other. And, oh, you're my favorite auntie and you're the best niecey in the world. And they're both posting pictures of their day-to-day and they're just all up on each other. Well, very recently, the niece got herself in a predicament. She's fallen on hard times and she's in a bit of some legal trouble due to some illegal activity she was involved in. All of a sudden, you don't hear the aunt saying anything or anything at all. If the aunt does say anything, it's in a situation, it's coming from a place of pity. Oh, well, I don't know where her head is. She's all messed up, but I'm going to pray for her. You know the conversation that some of you guys have when you come across somebody who's in trouble. You really don't want to, number one, accept what's going on, and number two, you don't have any idea or any way of trying to help them. That is, if you want to help them. So the first thing that comes out your mouth is how you don't understand why they're going through this and why they're going through that. And then you always end the whole tirade about how you're going to pray for them. Okay, we can go ahead with that. But anyway, you got to understand, things change with people. And just because you see people in a certain way doesn't mean that they're living the way that you perceive them. They present an image to you and you perceive it a certain way. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's why I always tell people, don't be putting every single little thing that you do out there, because that's putting out a certain perception of what you are, and you may not be that way. Now, I'm sorry for the woman that's really going through this thing with her niece. I'm sorry she's disappointed in her. But what she needs to do from this point on, once her niece gets out of that situation, and I don't know how long or if it's going to get resolved anytime soon, she's going to have to start accepting the fact that nobody's perfect, first of all. And second of all, she's going to have to accept that idolatry is a sin. You got to be careful who and what you idolize. Because if it's not your creator and it's anything else besides your creator, be it a person, a job, an award, a class, or anything else, if it's not your creator, it's going to let you down at some point. And as I stated before, I'm sorry that her heart is broken because of what she found out about her niece. But the thing is, you got to be careful who you idolize and what you idolize and your reason for idolizing them, and not putting your creator first. Your creator needs to come first in all things. Now, that's the first person on social media I've addressed. Now, there's another person on social media that I've addressed that I need to address. And this particular person is the one who has a partner. I don't know if it's a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend or a wife. But you've been doing this thing where you've been long suffering through their BS. They could have been throwing away money. They could have been unfaithful to you. It's something really detrimental you've been enduring for a long period of time. Getting on social media and talking about how much you love the Lord every time you turn around as a smoke screen for your pain, and not doing anything about your situation is not going to make it go away. And unfortunately, I see a lot of people that are getting on social media know that they've got this situation staring them in the face. And what they really need to do, yes, I have no problem with giving the Creator thanks. I have no problem with that. But you also, too, need to do something about the situation. You either need to do something about the situation or walk away from it. It's been going on for too long, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and it bothers you just like it happened on day one. And you placed yourself in this position of denial, hiding behind the words of the Lord. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how many services you go to, how many Bible verses that you read, how many meetings at the temple that you go to, and how many hours you meditate in the mosque. You still feel that pain every time this person does it over and over and over again. And this particular partner knows they're doing it and simply does not care. You have given them chance after chance after chance. But no, you don't put it out there exactly what's going on social media. But what you do is you're aware that a lot of people close to you know what's going on. But every time you're on there, you're talking about how thankful you are for the day when deep down you're hurting. So what you need to do, instead of wasting your time talking about getting on social media, talking about how thankful you are and that you pray everybody has a great day, what you need to do is spend some of that energy asking your Creator to help you deal with this situation because it needs to be dealt with. Your long suffering does not guarantee a blessing. I don't care what anybody tells you. And you were not created to put up with this for this many years. I'm sorry. I don't care what doctrine tells you that, but I don't believe that anybody who truly loves you, your Creator, whether you call it God, Jehovah, Yahweh, or anybody else, is going to sit there and watch you for 10, 15, 20 years and choose to stay in a situation that is totally preventable. But you call it long suffering, and you turn around and say it's in the name of the Lord. No, it's not, because 9 times out of 10 you got into that situation without God having anything to do with you choosing that person. God wasn't part of you getting together. So whatever it is that's been going on with you all these years, get that long-suffering business out of your head. It's not long-suffering. You're not going to get a special award or a special prize. The longer you stay in it, the more you're going to get blessed. You know it's wrong, and it's time for you to ask the Lord or Jehovah or Allah or whoever it is that you want to call him. You need to ask him for the strength for you to go ahead and shut that thing down. Now, I'm not saying it could be divorce. It could be where you just require some counseling or a minimal separation, whatever needs to be done. I'm not saying in the partnership. It could be repaired. It just depends. But the way it's going right now, it's not going to get any better. And you can't brainwash yourself into thinking that long suffering, this is what you're supposed to do.